We've now got some road closures in place that will affect motorists travelling outside of Sydney. Roads have now been closed, the Great Western Highway at Marangaroo, west of Lithgow, which means people that are travelling from Sydney to Western New South Wales will not be able to pass that location. Bellsline Road is also closed, so we ask that people delay their non-essential travel till possibly tomorrow. We can't indicate when the roads will reopen, and it's impacted by fire currently. There will be disruptions to train services as well in some locations, and people are asked to check trafficlive.com for updates, and in terms of evacuation centres to check Emergency New South Wales for any updates.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the train stations that have been closed or the lines that are likely to be affected?
At this stage, the lines between Macarthur and Mossvale have been impacted. There are bus services running in some locations, but there are some areas that buses cannot gain entry into the Bargo Tarmore area. So there's limited bus services in some locations.
So the South Coast line then, is that impacted?
No, the South Coast line is still open at this stage.
And what can you tell us about the roads heading south for motorists?
At this stage, the roads south are open. Princess Highway is open, and the traffic is reported as being light at this stage. But we really appreciate the public heeding the warnings to delay their non-essential travel. It's really helping efforts on the ground to ensure that there's not too many people on the roads.
And we're expecting to close more roads as that southerly bus comes in?
We're monitoring the situation continuously. There will be either when the fire is impacting, where there's heavy smoke or there's other risks that will trigger a road closure, we will certainly give everyone as much notice and information as possible. Where there's VMS signs in place and the use of live traffic and other means, we will let people know and what the alternate routes will be.
Obviously, this is one of the biggest travel weekends of the year, right before Christmas. What is the message to motorists?
The New South Wales Police message to motorists is today is not the day to start your holiday. Delay your travel until tomorrow. Conditions will be much milder and you can have a better trip. It's not just the fire conditions and the road closures, it's the fact that the temperatures outside make it terribly uncomfortable. So we don't want people to have delayed travel. So my message would be travel tomorrow. Thank you.
I'll just provide an update on the weather. So, so Jane Golding, Acting State Manager, the New South Wales Bureau of Meteorology, the New South Wales Office of the Bureau of Meteorology. So we've obviously seen some incredibly hot temperatures build up over Western New South Wales over the last few days. They impacted Sydney on Thursday, and we had some reprieve yesterday. Those temperatures are climbing today. We're expecting some areas in New South Wales to reach well into the mid-40s. It looks like the hottest parts of the state will be in the western parts of the Sydney Metropolitan District, so around the Penrith, Richmond area, but also in the Hunter, so a very populated part of the state. As with Thursday, and as is common with these kinds of systems, we're expecting a really gusty southerly to come through this afternoon. So that southerly will make challenging firefighting conditions, but also the wind gusts along the coast are looking like they'll be approaching gale force, so quite dangerous, quite damaging, strong enough to bring large limbs off trees down, disrupt power lines, things like that. So we're tracking the southerly at the moment. It's gone through Merimbula and Bega. It's moving up the south coast and moving towards where some fires of concern are. Expecting it to go through Ulladulla close to midday, Nowra around the 2 p.m. mark, and then move into the Sydney Metropolitan at around 5 o'clock this afternoon before tracking further north. So that change is being monitored very closely, and it's something certainly to watch as it approaches the fire grounds. The other thing of note today is we are expecting some thunderstorm activity over the south of the state, which could cause some new ignitions, but also make conditions that current fire grounds quite erratic. So very dangerous conditions today, not just from the heat, but also the fire behaviour and the strength of that southerly as it moves through the Sydney Central Coast and the Hunter District.
Can you give us an idea of what time the temperatures are expected to reach their maximums and whether or not this southerly is actually good news or bad news for people?
Yes, so the southerly will bring reprieve as far as the heat goes. So for those, so from a heat health point of view, that's good news. And what's also great is that once the change is through, it will cap off the temperatures for the next few days. So we should have a few cooler days coming up. So the change, so as the change comes through, the temperature, the peak of the temperature will be just before the southerly moves through for most places. So for places like Penrith, Richmond, the change will go through after 5 o'clock, probably closer to 6. So we'd expect the peak temperatures of around 46, 47 degrees in those areas to be late in the afternoon. So quite a long, hot day for some locations.
Is that a record or any sort of record?
That's not a record. If it reaches those, we have had hotter days for the Penrith area. Australia probably reached its peak as far as the warmest temperatures go nationwide yesterday.
And what was the peak then?
It was around the 41 degree mark. Yep.
How fast are the winds going to be? You said the gale force, but do we know kilometres per hour?
Yeah, so along the coast, the strongest winds will be along the coastal strip, expecting gusts up to about 90 kilometres an hour, and the mean speed will be around 60 kilometres an hour. That's pretty common in New South Wales when we get southerly busters around that speed.
What about inland, like say, in line with where those fires are?
Yeah, so where the fires inland or on the eastern slopes and on the ranges won't be quite as strong, but certainly around the 45 to 50 kilometre mean speed mark. And for some places it could be up to 70, 75 kilometres an hour.
And again from the south inland?
Yes. Yeah.
What is this going to do for the smoke situation?
Yeah, so the smoke, there's a complicating factor with the smoke is we've had fires take off over eastern Victoria overnight, and some of those are emitting quite a lot of smoke as well, which will move up in the southerly towards us. So we're expecting smoky conditions for the rest of today from the New South Wales fires and eastwards of those. And then as the southerly moves through, there's still quite a bit of smoke behind them. So won't be a quick clearance of smoke.
Do you think it will be very smoky tomorrow?
Some places in New South Wales certainly will be. Those places to the east, to the west of the fire, certainly. And at the moment we're modelling what's going to happen with that Victorian smoke.
Do we have any heat waves or any conditions like we've sort of seen over the past few weeks coming up in the next few weeks?
This does look like the hottest for a while. So the easterly will bring in some cooler air to New South Wales, particularly eastern parts. It still remains quite hot west of the Divide. It looks like the next peak temperatures will come through around the 28th or the 29th of December. So Christmas, Boxing Day looking like some milder days. And those temperatures coming through don't look as high as they are today, what we've seen, but certainly into the 40s.
Whereabouts will the thunderstorms be?
This stage we're expecting a line south of about Katoomba, maybe a bit north of there, not too far north. The strongest signature is west of Canberra, out towards the South Australian border, but there is a chance that we get some lightning up as far as Western Sydney and the Katoomba area.